Hey guys, Albe here. This episode is gonna be a joint episode with the Ducati Scrambler on one side and the BMW F800 on the other. Now, two bikes, one part. And when I say one part, I mean the same part for both bikes. We're talking about aluminum machine levers. So, to be specific, we have the Ride It aluminum machine levers. I had those levers on most of my bikes. I had it on my Monster 796, I had it on my BMW S1000RR, and now it's time to put them on those two bikes. Those levers do come from China, and I know some people get skittish when we talk about stuff that comes from China. But so far I had a pretty good experience with those particular levers. First of all, you can adjust the distance from the handlebar with this little lever up here. Second of all, you can adjust how wide you want those levers to be. They actually stretch. So if you want a full length, you can have a full length. If you use two fingers, you can have the two fingers on. And third of all, which I kind of like a lot, those are foldable levers. So in case of a fall, the lever in theory should fold up rather than snap. They come particularly handy on an off-road where you never know. Besides, those levers are not that expensive. Check the description below for the link. I do know that on the other bikes I kept them for a while and they did not discolor or give me any problem. So there they are. But enough with the chit chat, let's get on it. We are going to start with the brake levers. I never done this before on this specific bike, so in theory the only tools I'm gonna need for the Scrambler, which is the one we're gonna start with first, is a 10mm wrench and a flat screwdriver. Let's see how it goes. As you guys can see, there is really not much going on this lever over here. The only thing I want to make you guys pay attention to is the screw inside over here. We are gonna have to adjust the screw on the new levers somewhat later on, and that's exactly the screw we're gonna be dealing with. But other than that, the only thing we really need to do is undo this one over here, which has a nut on the bottom side. Let's get our 19mm and let's undo this. The switch is down. And then we just pull out. Just need to put the new levers in. But before we do that, let's take a look at what we got left after we take apart the lever. You have the main bolt that goes through and holds the lever in place. You have this little bracket that holds the sensor in place. You have the nut that goes on the back side of that. And you have this little bitty thingy looking like licorice that came out of back here. This is the piston that goes back and forth inside here to activate the brake switch. New lever going in. It looks right, it sits right. Somehow it doesn't go, there you go. All the way. First we put the bracket back on the sensor. Then we put the little licorice in the hole. Right there. Then we lift the sensor up, put in the little prong in the hole and the bracket, and at this point we can actually put the nut back on and tie it up. We can hear the familiar click. One down, three more to go. In the case of the BMW brake, it's gonna be just as easy, if not easier, because I believe that the switch for the brake lights is actually positioned somewhere else other than on the lever. So in theory, the only thing we're gonna need is a T25 and 8mm. So let's do it. We're gonna hold the nut down here on the bottom. We're gonna undo the top. Now it's time to pop the bolt. Okay, so we gotta push this little brass thing in here out, which seems to be easy enough. Okay, brass thing came out, and now a little spring came out, and finally the lever came out. I got the little spring in there, I got the brass thingy attached to it. Now I'm going to slide this in. So apparently if you pull hard enough, this thing pops out. So putting the little brass thingy back in there was an absolute nightmare. I believe you do not actually need the spring in there, because the spring is to adjust the lever back and forth, and this lever adjusts back and forth by this lever over here. So spare yourself some pain, get rid of that spring or set it aside, and then let's put that little prong back inside there. There you go. And this is the easy part. Just put the lever back on. At this point I'm going to put in the little nut. What do you know? Doesn't even spin. It comes back just fine all the way. It doesn't stick or anything, but it feels stiff. So maybe it's because I just touched the one from the Scrambler, which is really soft. The only test I can do is keep a single shot, just to show you guys that I'm not doing camera tricks or anything. I lift up the bike, spin the tire. Let's see if I can do it with my hands. And it works just fine. So I thought it would be easier. Instead it turned out to be an absolute nightmare, just because of the two part system from BMW. But anyway, let's move on. So back to the Scrambler. Now, in theory, because I thought the previous lever was easy, in theory this one is easy as well. I should only need a 10mm wrench, but apparently you never know. So let's get on it, let's change this lever, and we're done with the Scrambler. Okay, let's start from the bottom and undo this. It's done. Now we gotta push up the rod. Nope, it comes right out. Let's put it aside, and let's pull that out. What I did is, as you guys have seen, I just move it forward so that it gets all the way to here. and then I'll just slide it up. Levers out. What I'm gonna do is put the little cylinder over there in there. Okay, and then just push this in, put this back in place. There you go, all the way in, and then bolt back on. Now all those little nuts I'm tying over here, they're all self-locking, so they do not need to be tied to death. Just a little bit. That's it. We're done. Since I already know that this is gonna be just as a pain in the butt as the other one, the other side was, I already removed the bark buster handguards to give me some more room to play around with. Other than that, if I'm lucky, the only tools I'm gonna need on this one is gonna be an 8mm and a T25 Torx. So finger crossed, let's get on it. 8mm on the bottom and T25 up top. Here we go. Here we go. Let's undo this. Let's push in some of the slack. This should be enough. Pull it out here and down. Easier than I thought. And then pull the lever out. So what I did is I grabbed a file and I filed off just a little bit over here and over here. Literally less than 1 millimeter. So, and now if it's in, let's put the nut back on the bottom side. Way easier than I thought it would be. Let's repeat the maneuver. Up and in. And across. Here we go. Wow. And then let's get some of the slack off. Remember, you don't want to get this super tight like this. You want to actually have just a little bit of slack. The little bit of slack guarantees that the clutch is fully engaged when you release it. This thing back in place. And then we put the little strap back on. Here we go, and now I can adjust it to be as far as I like. So the levers are in place. It took no time whatsoever to do the Scrambler. It took an eternity to do the front brake on the F800GS, but it took no time to do the clutch on the GS. So I have mixed feeling about it. The levers look absolutely great. I even got the same color for both bikes, and I'm pretty happy about it. They can be adjusted lengthwise, they can be adjusted reach-wise, and they fold up in case of a fall, which is almost priceless. But let's see how they're gonna hold throughout the time. Obviously, for anything I use in this video, check down below for links. And other than that, if you like the video, like. If you love the video, subscribe. For more Scrambler and more F800GS, stay tuned. Till then, ride on, and I'll see you next time.